Vice President Mike Pence expected to land in Omaha, Nebraska at the top of the hour, set to meet with first responders amidst record flooding as the region braces for even more rain. Fox News' Mike Tobin is in Roscoe, Illinois, with the very latest for us. Mike?
And behind me is the Rock River, which is about 150 yards over its bank. And if you look all the way across the river there, you can kind of see where the center of the river is. You can see that brown house, which is right at the edge of the river. Now, the other side of that is Edgemere Terrace, which is a little neighborhood. About half the houses in that neighborhood are dry, but the entire neighborhood is surrounded by floodwater. So if you look in front of me, this is how the kids are getting to school. They take these kayaks across the river, and from here they catch the school bus. All of this flood water is the result of snowmelt combined with all of the rain that we are getting. Some 14 states, 9 million people are now impacted by this flooding or at risk. No state is hit harder than Nebraska.
There's been 3 of them in my lifetime that I remember. And this is the worst. This is the worst I've ever seen it.
Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts says 65 of the 93 counties are under emergency declaration right now. The Farm Bureau estimates some $400 million in crop losses because the farmers can't get their seed in the ground. $500 million in livestock losses. So you're talking about just about $1 billion for Nebraska agriculture alone. Vice President Mike Pence is due to be on the ground any moment now in Nebraska. He will be meeting with Governor Ricketts and Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds to assess the damage and assess the need. What these people really need out in this region of the country is for the rain to let up and let all this flood water work its way downstream. The bad news is they're not going to get that break. At least here in Illinois, they're expecting to get more rain. There's an association of mayors downstream on the Mississippi, and the chairman of that association says this is just the beginning. Back to you.
Hope it ends soon. Mike, thank you so much.
All right, more on that economic impact Mike was referring to now as we're joined on the telephone by Bill Thiele. And Bill is the president of the Nebraska State Dairy Association and also happens to be a dairy farmer himself. So, you know, Mike ran through some, Bill, of the overall numbers, and those sound devastating. But what about on your personal farm? What's happened there?
Well, we're actually in pretty good shape here. The worst part of the state is just a little bit north of us and then all the way around to the east. We've had some, I'm going to call it inconveniences in transportation of milk and feed versus a lot of the rest of the state.
I'm sure in your position there with the association, you've spoken to your colleagues in other parts of the state, and what are they telling you?
Well, kind of what we just alluded to. They've also had some issues for a short period of time. Some dairies were actually dumping milk. Most of that has been answered, but I think what I'm hearing now from milk haulers, et cetera, they're averaging about 150 miles more per load of milk because of all the roads that are closed and detouring that they have to do.
How long does it take to rebound from something like this? Obviously, as we just heard, when the rain has to stop first, but after that, how long do you expect before everybody's back up on their feet again?
I think there'll be a large number of people that never do get back up on their feet. We have acres and acres and miles. Some are covered by ice, much more so by flooding waters. I've talked to farmers and dairymen that have quarters of alfalfa that are ruined, which of course is their feed supply for this year. A lot of ranchers that their corn stalks they rely on for wintering their cows. They've had to move them away. I know one guy that heard that had 5,000 cows, and because of he was on rural water.
Wow. So some people are completely they're just completely out of business, is your point, some of these people?
I think it certainly will happen. We're on top of a few stressful years already, and I'm sure this will be the last straw for
God, it's horrible. I guess that last point that you brought up, I did want to ask you about. What was business like before this happened? We've reported, of course, on trade tensions and the like and all kinds of issues that are affecting the farming community. What was business for you and your colleagues like before the floods?
Well, it's been difficult the last couple of years for all stage of ag. You just really can't find, whether it's row crops or livestock, anything that's been great real recently, and that started happening long before the trade disagreements, and so we're obviously all hopeful that some of that gets straightened out, because that's our salvation long term if we can hang on.
Yeah, but this, to put it mildly, doesn't hurt in doesn't help in the short term. Bill, very nice to talk to you. Thanks for calling in, and most importantly, good luck to you and to everybody out there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.